Hello everyone, I am Vinod Parghi, Assistant Professor, Rai School of Management Study, Rai University, Ahmedabad. Today I will deliver a lecture on basis of GST. So let's just start our lecture. First is the introductions of GST. Goods and services is the stand for GST. Is applicable in India from 1st July 2070. Before 1st July 2070, service tax apply to service and VAT, excise duty, etc. apply to goods. After 1st July 2017, GST apply to trading and manufacturing of the goods as well as on providing services. Then GST is not applicable to the alcohol. Alcohol is not applicable. Crude petrol is not applicable. Motor spirit is not applicable. Diesel is not applicable on the GST. Aviation turbine fuel is not applicable, and natural gas, VAT, CST and excise duty is not applicable to them. Then we will discuss about the next slide. The next slide is here is list of taxes which are applicable before GST is no longer applicable. तो ये सभी क्या है जो जिसमें which are not applying, and these are the all taxes regime in the GST after GST. Central direct taxes. So central direct taxes, central excise duty, additional excise duty, service tax, and the additional custom duties are involved in the central taxes. Then tax indirect taxes, state indirect taxes, VAT and sale tax. Then entertainment tax, central sale tax, electoral and entry tax, purchase tax, luxury tax, tax on the loyalties, taxes and surcharges are involved in the state indirect taxes. Then basic custom duty and the anti-dumping duty is also applicable in the addition of to GST to case of imports of goods. Then we will discuss our next slide is services on which GST is not applicable. GST is not applicable to the certain services like salary and wages, electricity, interest, government fees such as MCA fees and land registration services. Then we will discuss our next slide. Why do we need GST? The previous tax system involved multiple taxes and then complex compliance procedures and interventions by several state and central tax divisions. This made to highly difficult to the set and run a business in India. Then under the GST regime, instead of applying taxes on the total value of the product and at stage of each state, then the GST only imposed on tax of the value additions also, since since it provide a credit for the input tax paid at each previous stage of the supply chain. This method considerably reduce the overall cost of the GST in under the selling good. Then we will discuss our next slide. How can GST this change? तो GST ने इसको कैसे चेंज किया? Instead of applying tax on the total value of the products at stage, the GST only imposed tax on the value addition. So value addition is a tax of imposed tax because it provides create for the input tax paid at which previous stage of the supply chain. This method considerably reduce the overall manufacturing cost. Then let's take a closer look at how this work on the simple example. Suppose a comparison of the tax previous tax and also a GST. This is the example. Imagine a manufacturing selling zinc coated steel buckets to a wholesaler located in the same tax. Let's call state 1. Then 4 rupees 1000 each plus tax. So let's assume example of the old tax system. So these are example of the old tax system. First of all, these are the manufacturing these are the wholesale business and retailer, and then our customer. First of all, manufacturing cost price is 1000. Before we will discuss about the old tax system. Plus we government is adding a plus weight tax is upon the assume to 10%. So selling price is 1100. Then manufacturing sale to wholesaler. So wholesaler buying the price is 1100. Then wholesale also adding a value added tax and CST. CST is 12% and value added tax is a 9%. So selling price is 2240%, 40 rupees. Then this is a selling price of wholesaler selling retailer buying price is 2240. Then he also paying value add and VAT, and after value add and VAT also adding, then selling price is 3091.20 rupees. Then after the customer also buying a selling price is this, and आफ्टर जो हमारा कस्टमर है वो कस्टमर ऐसे ही इसी प्राइस पर वो क्या करेगा, परचेज करेगा. सो दीज आर एग्जांपल ऑफ ओल्ड टैक्स. देन आफ्टर वी विल डिस्कस अबाउट द जीएसटी सिस्टम. जीएसटी सिस्टम इज अ सेंट्रल टैक्स. ठीक है, सेंट्रल टैक्स. तो मैन्युफैक्चरिंग फर्स्ट आवर कॉस्ट प्राइस इज 1000, जिसमें लगेगा सीजीएसटी प्लस एसजीएसटी. डायरेक्ट यहाँ पे लग जाता है हमारा सीजीएसटी और एसजीएसटी. देन वी विल डिस्कस अबाउट 10%. then selling price is 1100. then manufacturing selling the wholesaler also adding the price of IGST, integrated GST, and the calculation of the selling price is 2200. then wholesaler also selling a retailer price is he is also adding a GST and value added is the total amount of GST. then GST also percentage, government percentage, and selling price is 2904 rupees. and this is a last price of buying or selling a product. so customer किस पर परचेस करेगा, इस प्राइस पर. सो यहाँ पे हमें देखने को मिल सकता है द जीएसटी सिस्टम इज रिड्यूस टू old system tax regime. so these are the not costly, but these are the benefit of the all the our stage manufacturing, wholesalers, retailers, and customer also a benefitor. then we will discuss our next slide. Looking both the example, one can that there is a not much difference to the buying or end customer. so there is no any differences in our examples. the benefit to the end of consumer totally depends on the GST rate associated with the particular item or services under the GST. then if we had assumed a higher GST rate for the buckets, the end of the consumer actually paid a lot more than the earlier B मतलब हमारा जो GST सिस्टम था वो. then we will discuss our next slide. type of GST. GST type of three type of GST. First is central GST, CGST, just called central GST. then this is applicable of the on supply with the state. so this is applicable in the state. then tax collected with the will be set to central को यहाँ पे शेयर किया जाएगा. then SGST stand for state GST. the applicable supply with the state. सप्लाई के साथ यहाँ पे स्टेट को सप्लाई करेगा, एप्लीकेबल रहेगा. टैक्स कलेक्टेड विल बी सेड टू स्टेट. देन IGST. IGST stand for the integrated GST. This is applicable to interest of import transaction. It is applicable on interstate and import transactions. Tax collected is shared between center and state. So these are the type of GST. Next slide is scenario 1. For example, levy of SGST and CGST. Let's assume that you are a distributor in a Chennai and you buy a goods from a manufacturer in the Tirupur and Tirupur, Tamil Nadu. Then since the sales and movement of goods happen with the state, SGST and CGST will be levied on the sale. Then you as the distributor will get tax credit on the input SGST and CGST. Then we will discuss about next slide. Scenario 1 to levy of IGST. IGST को कैसे डिस्ट्रीब्यूट किया जाएगा. Let's assume that you are a distributor in Belgaum, Karnataka, and you buy goods from a manufacturer in Tirupur, Tamil Nadu. Here sales of movement of goods happen between two different states. It's called IGST will be levied on the state. Then we will discuss our tax of structure in GST. So these are the new tax structure of the our GST systems. First of all, tax rate and indicative items. 0%, 5%, 12%, 80%, 28% and 28% प्लस सेसिस. सेसिस क्या होता है? जो इस पर सेस किया जाएगा, these are called सेस. So 0% it is indicative 50% of the consumer price buckets including food grain. 5% mass consumption item like species and mustard oil, and 12% include processed foods. 80% include soaps, oil, toothpaste, figure maids, toothpaste, smartphones also. 28% white goods and cars. 28% plus says luxurious cars, pan masala, tobacco, aerated drinks also resume in the GST tax structure. Then we will discuss benefits of GST. So these are the benefit. Single direct tax for the whole of India. Input tax credit can be taken from taxes paid in another state. Then easy transfer of goods from one state to another. So this is a basic introductions of GST. Thank you to all for the review of our GST systems and basics of GST. Thank you.